Actually, no, let's not prefab them yet. Let's add an FSM. I'll show you a really important thing. I'm going to go into the ecosystem, and we're going to get a pooling system. Pooling's really important. It's the idea of creating stuff at runtime can be a little harder on performance. We're creating it ahead of time and then just reusing that object, which is called pooling, is a lot easier on performance. And you can't quite do it with everything. In some cases, you don't need to do it with everything anyways. But with some things, it is nice to have, especially with stuff like this explosion. Pooling is great, right? So now that it is in, let's close that. Let's make a manager. We'll give this an FSM. This explosion has an FSM. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait, you know, about, I think the longest one for the smoke was about 15 seconds. So let's wait 15 seconds. Pop over here. So we're doing a wait, and then over here we're going to pooler destroy self. That's all we got to do. And he'll now take care of himself. He'll re-enter himself into the pool. So let's prefab him into our folder. Delete him out of our scene. On the prefabs, good habit is zero off the position. That can cause you issues. So in the manager, we need a pool to draw from. So we're going to go pooler pool, and we're going to say explosion is the prefab. The name of the pool, let's just call it explosion. We'll just keep it like that. And we'll give it, say, 50. We'll turn on recycling, which more or less means, so if we pool 50 objects, right? Actually, let's bring that down and say 20. If we pool 20 objects and we shoot a 21st bullet or whatever, it hits it, it needs that 21st explosion, but there isn't an explosion. We've already got 20 of them out there, all smoking away. The recycling says we're going to take the first one they used, which is the oldest one now, and renew that one as our, and you can take this one. So it's going to recycle the ones that are already out there. Right, so now we have a manager with those. So if we now look at what I did for the player and the gun, we have our bullet. I'm going to move the bullet over to this proper folder here. So this bullet, if it hits something, or it goes over here, like it's destroying itself. So we should make a pool for the bullets as well. So let's get rid of that and do a pooler destroy self. So we're not destroying it, we're using the pooler to pool it. But we also want to pooler spawn. No, I don't think I clicked that right. There we go. And the action order is really important, right? Because once the logic hits the destroy self, nothing underneath that's going to run, right? So make sure the order is in the right order. So we're going to have the name of the pool called bullet, which we haven't made yet, and the spawn point I'm just going to drag in itself, just like that. Oh wait, no, we want the explosion. Sorry. We want the explosion to spawn where the bullet was, and then we can destroy the bullet. Right? So let's save that. Now if we go out to, say, the player, we go to the gun, instead of creating the object, we want to pooler spawn the bullet. Right? And we'll have a pool called bullet, which we haven't made yet. and it's going to happen at the muzzle, and we can store it just as we did before. Right, so the muzzle, if I remember right, I have to move that out. So it's sitting like that. So in the manager, we need another pool, because we now need one for the bullet. Right, and that maybe this one will go, well, I probably don't need that many, and we'll turn recycling on there. Right, and just to see that, let's save and hit play. Alright, so let's see what's happening. Alright, let's deactivate this enemy for a minute. And go into our player. The name of the pool is bullet. That should be correct. Let's make sure we set these. Like I said, that can cause you issues. And manager, we did make it called bullet. Why is that not firing off? So we have a null exception error. Right, so what did we do in here? So on the bullets, we have a destroy self after 3 seconds. We need to get rid of that, right? But we're still going to want to keep that as well, right? Because it does a destroy self. So let's just add a wait in for 3 seconds, and we'll do an auto destroy. I spelled that wrong, so be it. And I'll just copy pooler destroy self, place it in there, right? Because it was giving me an error because the bullet was destroyed, but as far as the pool or as the pool thinks, the pool's still trying to access it. So it was trying to access something that doesn't exist, which was giving us errors. So now let's deactivate the enemy yet, right? So now we have pooling bullets. So we have a bit of a weird thing there with the direction. So we need to fix that. You see, as we hit something and we got that, we get our smoke cloud and the explosion. Alright, so let's fix. Let's do it right on the bullet itself. And ultimately what that is because when we deactivate it, it's got a rigid body and it's holding that velocity in that direction and stuff, right? So we want to make sure his velocity, make it above the destroy. On himself is, we're just going to go zeros. That should rectify that issue. No, we still have a little bit of an issue there. Alright, So let's take a look at our gun logic. You know what we'll do? Instead of using the set velocity on self space, let's make sure we're just going to fire forward. Transform direction. This is a really, really useful action. This can kind of get the direction of anything you want, right? So we're going to transform the direction of this unit, and we want to get its forward direction, so that's Z. Let's call this direction, or dire, and we're going to now not do that. We're going to use world space, and we'll use this dire, but now that's only a velocity of 1, so let's go with a velocity of 100. Now, any which way the player is facing, it should be using that direction. Right, so that seems a lot better. Alright, so there we go. Now let's, just for the sake of seeing more explosions, I'm going to add a cube. We're just going to stick this cube along here. I'm going to go with a size of 1. We'll put this guy along here. He'll be like our border. We'll stick him there and put another one down here. Take another one, flip it 90. We'll move him there. Another one, and just bring him over here. There we go. And we'll be able to see a lot more explosions, which is just fun to look at, right? So as you see, as I get more of those smoke clouds, see how it's pulling away some of the ones that are already there. It's because we're telling it we only want 20. All right, now, and you can up that. You can go 50 or 60 or 100 or whatever it is. It's not that big of a deal. But that's, you know, that's that. So one of the other effects, and this is going to go with the communication end of things, is this is a really fancy way. Actually, do I have Cinemachine in here? I do. So Cinemachine is this beautiful camera system that just makes life a lot easier. So I'm going to take a virtual camera, right, and it's going to, oh, you know what, it's just going to look at the plane. I could even say follow the plane, I guess. And it's going to go let's go like 25. But yeah, so it's in the exact same spot. It's just using, and the only reason I'm doing that way is we have these extensions, right? And you can add little cool stuff. So one of them is an impulse listener, right? So if I go to, say, the bullet, right, and we go into the bullet, and on a collision we could do impulse, called generate impulse. And if you don't have these actions, it'll be on the ecosystem under that. So move to the top. Position and velocity, I'm going to mark those as none, not just blank, but as none, right? That can alter logic in these things. So let's see what happens there. I don't think I put an actual impulse profile in, so we'll need to do that, I believe. So the bullet, yeah, so the bullet would need the profile. So we're going to add a component called impulse source, right? And we could choose different ones. There's a default explosion one, and you can adjust these curves. I don't need to. I think it's the default. The default works pretty good. So the generate impulse will tell the camera that we've done we need an explosion, right?